talk to me a little bit about how you found the difference in when you were training by yourself to the way that the style of training that I give you with the tempos, with the system that we had with the programming. How did you find the key differences in terms of, you know, going through a training session, doing it, winging it by yourself or doing it by yourself compared to having it structured and laid out for you? Go into the detail of that for me, please.
When you first got the gym, when you started going to the gym, and I would say that I was quite an experienced gym person prior to the program anyway, going quite a lot since I was probably about 18, but not in a situation where I was pushing myself to what I could be. Training by yourself is so easy to just, I'll swap to this exercise, I'll swap to this exercise, I'll swap to this. I won't do that exercise, I won't do that one. You don't stick to a set plan, you don't stick to a set weight, you're not concentrating on building a certain area, you've not got a correct split. There's so many aspects to the training that once they're tweaked slightly and you've got the correct split, you've got the correct rep range, you've got what works for you, you've got your weights recorded so that you know what you did last week. Like when I was going previously on my own, I'd just go and I'd lift something, I'd be like, yeah, that's heavy enough, that's all right. Yeah, that's fine. But now I can go and I can be like, well, I lifted that last week. So I can do that. Oh, I did 10 of these last week. Well, let's go for 8 this week on the next way up. I did 15. Let's do whatever. And if you're not recording something, you're not going to push yourself. So I wasn't able to push myself because I wasn't making the notes I needed to make. And that's the key difference between doing it solo and then having somebody there who's set a plan for you.
Excellent. Yeah, very, very good stuff.
Asked you questions before as to, we're changing this, but why are we changing this? We're doing this, but why are we doing this? Because I like knowing the reason behind us doing something. Because if I know the understanding behind it and why we're doing the tempos, why we're, doing this extra couple of reps on set 2 and 3 as opposed to, set 1. And I start to understand it better, then I know that it's more beneficial for myself.
You then, like, what's been the biggest changes you've noticed physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually since obviously starting at A where you were at the start to obviously at this point now? What were the biggest changes that you've seen?
Well, obviously, aside from the obvious ones, which are body changes, you start to notice yourself as you walk past Marie. It's more about the mental approach, maybe more than anything. Just feeling more confident, feeling happier. I'm always getting told off now for flexing in the mirror, but it's good things like that. Exactly, yeah. So it's always good to have that clear mind, that mentality there, because it helps you make better decisions. Is the be all and end all of it. If I'm down in the dumps, I've had a bad day, and now when I eat shit, I can tell that I've eaten shit. But when I've eaten good and my body is running how it's supposed to, like a car with the right oil in the engine, that type of thing, I know that I can push to do better. I can achieve all the things that I want to achieve.
Excellent. And just for some specifics then in terms of changes for you, like when you said flexing in the mirror, go into the specifics of physique wise, what actually changed from point A to point B? What notices have you seen in from a physique standpoint? And we'll go into mindset.
So in terms of physique, like I've got more definition. My arms are getting bigger, my chest is getting bigger. It's the daily noticeable changes. T-shirts that I used to wear that were a bit tight, I now can't even wear because now they're way too tight. They're going in the bin, I'm changing clothes and that type of thing. But then the clothes that I used to think, this is too big, it's starting to fit nicer and look better. So it's just, you notice yourself when you're getting bigger arms. When you're at the gym and you're lifting, you've got a pump. It's one of the best feelings ever when you're looking in the huge mirror in front of you and you've got this great physique, this great body, and that you're actually proud to show off to a degree.
Awesome.
I've always found it's like the best approach for me. Yeah. Simplistic, quick. I can cook rice. I'm not being complex. I'm not trying anything fancy. I'm just putting my rice in. I'm getting my tuna. I'm getting my broccoli. I'm getting my core elements, my protein, my carbs, and my fats out of these simple elements to allow me to fuel my body to do what it needs to do.
Actually made you initially commit to joining in the first place? What were you actually going through before the program actually started, and what made you join?
I suppose it's like a life kind of like, it's a life change that you want at a certain point in life. You get to that age and you're like, right, I can either continue how I am or I can change and do something completely different and see how that takes me. And sometimes, even though the unknown is a scary situation to go into, and you haven't pushed yourself into them deep waters or anything like that. I thought at the time that I was at and getting ready to kind of like look to having a child and stuff like that, because obviously we were trying, it was one of them things where I was like, I need to see if I can do it, start pushing myself into those areas and try to become better in that aspect and multiple aspects of life, really. So yeah, just
how has the accountability or coaching made a difference compared to doing it all by yourself many years ago?
you don't want to let people down. Is the reality of it. You don't want to let yourself down ever, but people make exceptions, letting themselves down. But having the accountability there so that you're not letting other people down is different. It's completely different. If somebody is relying on you, if somebody is relying on that you do things and checking in on you and stuff like that, it's so much harder to go, like, no, I don't want to do it. So it's that the accountability standpoint. It's like holding yourself accountable, but not just for yourself, but for other people. For your wife, for a future child, for your trainer. You're trying to show that you can be the best that you can be. You want to achieve what they want you to achieve.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I looked at it, kind of from the get-go. We've got that mutual respect there. So having that mutual respect between yourself and the trainer, and then trusting in the results that have been shown through what you can see on social media. The no bullshit approach is what you want. You don't want this could be you in 3 weeks, and it's a lot of rubbish. You want the structured approach to it, and that's what I could see was there. So to get that structured approach and also have that mutual respect for the trainer is what I kind of opted for.
Okay, no worries. And how did you find between obviously the previous months and years going alone to then like being on board and getting into the swing of things? What were the key differences that you'd noticed, good, bad, and in between, from going alone and actually joining and going into the process of it all?
I suppose like you're your own motivation throughout the years when you weren't alone. You try and every day to motivate yourself. You can do it. Go to the gym, go to the gym, go to the gym. But having that plan in place, that structure, that thing that you've got to follow, it's like a rule set, and it's something that's drilled into you from when you're young. Rules are there to be followed, and you try and stick to these rules / guidelines. And when it's just you can bend them, you can change them, you can do whatever you want. No, I'm not going to that. I'm not doing. I'll go on so and so. I'll do it then. But that day might not come. It might come. I'm not going on Tuesday. I'll go on Sunday. On Sunday, something might happen and you don't go. And it's just like a knock-on effect that happens. But having that structured approach put in front of you to say, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Like, right, Sam, just tick it off. Boom, ticked. Boom, ticked. Done. And that ease of being able to just go, I've done that for today. I've done my job. I've done what I was meant to do. Rather than you setting your own, it'll be okay. It just makes it so much easier to kind of get the results that you want to.
What are you most proud of achieving over these 4-month period?
The person that is in charge of everything is yourself, and your body knows that. So at any given point you can just go, nah, I'm done, sacking this off, can't be bothered. And having that there as like a little voice in the back of your head can often sway your mind. Something might go wrong in the day, and you've got 2 ways of going about it. You've got the, fuck this, I'm sick of it, I'm thinking. Or you've got the, I'm going to put more effort in, I'm going to give my commitment higher than what I have done before, and just use that as fuel to kind of like go further. And some of the days were the days where I was like, nah, I don't want to do this, I'm sacking it off. And that, it wasn't necessarily down to anything to the program. It's things that happen outside of your control sometimes that cause them little triggers in your brain, because the brain's such a weird thing that if something noisy, and maybe it's something to do with the way that I'm wired, but if something gets me, sometimes it gets me into that mood where I'm like, it's ruined my day now, and it can have that knock-on effect. So it was just controlling myself mentally, getting calm, and then getting back onto it, finding something that I can use to bring myself back to level ground, and then push on from there. But yeah, there's definitely them days where I was like, nah, I'm done. But
how do you think you overcame them days?
Mainly it was reassessing what the reason I started more than anything. Why did I start? Who am I doing it for? What am I doing it for in the future? And the main thing for me was in my brain, I was going, well, if I'm going to miss the day, then I'm going to miss another day. And if I'm going to miss another day, then it could be that I'm going to miss another day, and it's a knock-on effect, constant knock-on, and with them knock-ons, it just kind of gets into the routine of like you're skipping every single step. And if you want to achieve a goal, you've got to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't go from step 1 to step 6, step 7, or whatever it is. You can't. You have to follow the strict guidance. And for me, I don't like quitting. I don't like stopping things. So to skip a day, it just put you in an even worse place, and that'd show. So there would be, if there was a day where like a Saturday or something after football or whatever, I was like, I'm not going because I'm tired and my legs are tired. Well, it was one of the things I was like, well, if I'm skipping today, then I'm not going to go tomorrow if it's a Sunday anyway, and then I'm missing the progress that I could be making.
Yeah.
So it's all about keeping the progress there and building on the progress each day, rather than staying stagnant.
Cool. All right. Did you feel like that accountability and that support were consistent throughout?
Yeah, whenever I needed anything, it was there. There was always that aspect there where if I needed anything, if I needed something, if I needed that support, regardless of what it be, there was a direction to go to get it. Or I'm struggling with this exercise, can we change it for this and achieve what you need to achieve? So yeah, it was consistent throughout from most areas, to be honest with you. I knew if I needed something, I had it. I've made a lot of progress from week 1 to week 16, and I don't want that progress to stop. I don't want to give up now and be like, no, I'm not going to continue to progress, not going to continue to push myself. I'm going to continue with that and let the results kind of like speak for themselves. I'm grateful for like obviously commitment to pushing me into the places, and even on the difficult days when I'm having them days where I'm like, no, I don't want to do it, I've had enough, whatever, that's fine. Still being there and sticking at that point to be like, yeah, well, you signed up for a fucking reason, so do what you got to do. And sometimes that's all you need just to get over the line. So it's grateful still to like to have that mutual respect between us, and I'm going to continue to push, and you'll see the gains still come in. So we'll kind of build on that.